Hello traders, very good morning and welcome to today's live market profile and order flow trade analysis by Tradeducation. We are at episode 181, and before I share today's analysis, I would just like to go through a quick disclaimer that trading involves substantial risk and is not suitable for all investors. Also, the information which I'm sharing is for educational purposes only and cannot be used for any trade related activities. Okay, so with that, let's quickly look at and study the auction which happened or which developed yesterday and what can be the potential auction development paths for today from intraday perspective. Okay, so let me just quickly share my screen, and first of all, let me just jump to the daily time frame analysis, or to the daily chart. Okay, so here, first of all, I was just observing this 20 EMA, and one observation which I wanted to share is who is buying exactly at this level. Okay, you have to always understand whenever you see some form of exactness, that's where I start creating my trade plan. Okay, so what do I mean by trade plan? Meaning, so whoever is bought here, those are weaker players, and yesterday was some sort of clarity in terms of those who bought here. So if you see the yesterday's low, it's exactly at this particular reference point. Okay, and again around those same region is where buyers stepped in. So this was a good position to take long. That's what I shared yesterday, and then the market immediately reversed, and it closed around yesterday's range. Okay, so one thing which I wanted to share is, I always look at the 20 EMA line. Whenever I see instances like this, where exactly people or, players are coming and buying around these levels. And once the sideways movement develops, that's where, I try to, or my antenna, comes to attention and see that, okay, now something drastic or some change is going to happen, because now the earlier the market was in a trending mode, then we entered in a sideways mode. Okay, so now it's either the sellers will win or the buyers will win. I don't know who will win, but basically some change in the trend is going to happen, and that is how I identify the change and take the trades based on that. Okay, so yesterday nothing much. It was more like the auction opened within yesterday's range, and it was sharply falling till I think 10:45. So till the B period, and and I think in the B period around 10:40 is where before the C period started. That's where buyers stepped in, and then entire day the buyers were just trying to take the auction higher. Okay, and now if you see the volume of last 3 days is continuously increasing, so that's a good sign. So with falling prices, volumes are increasing, indicating that a good trade facilitation is going on. And also if you see this volume is somewhere pretty close by to the volume which came into this big selling zone. Okay, this selling zone. Okay, so that is the overall daily time frame analysis. And here also I shared that you can expect some sort of reversal around the VPOC. So this is the VPOC of a bigger distribution. And yesterday we saw the auction open around the lows of yesterday. It tried to reach higher, but then it immediately tagged the VPOC. So going long at the VPOC level was a good opportunity to take a long trade. So now what I'll be doing is I'll be just so now this is the balance low. And this is the balance low of this profile. So let me add the yesterday's auction data points. Okay, so now if you see VPOC is exactly, sorry, where is the VPOC? VPOC is shifted higher. Okay, so now if you see we have a sort of a balance here, and let me do that. Okay, so I'm just considering yesterday's balance and the value area high, value area low, and the POC. So these are the three references. And so what my observation is, so yesterday we had a VPOC. So VPOC will act as a good level of support. Auction should open higher. We should see some sort of bounce back and then continuation to the higher side with the target of the value area high of this particular balance. Okay. So we need to see whether this sort of auction development happens or not. Second auction can be, auction is just developing sideways. So, yesterday we had one balance, so we might expect one more balance today. So let's see whether that happens. Also today being Wednesday, and so I made some good, decent profits, in this downfall. So yesterday I did not trade it, and today I'm also not thinking to take any trades unless and until any setup forms, or if there is an opportunity, but I'm not looking to take any trades for today. Okay. And now from the VSA chart, so if you see this blue line, these are the support zones which I have tagged. So this zone, I'll just move it away, this particular zone. So overall, what you see is it's just sideways development. Now this is a support zone. This is one more support zone, and I'm expecting which way. So we have got multiple HVNs on the upper edge. Let me see what's around the lower edge. So we have got HVN here. This I'll also tag this. These are also good support zones, these two zones. So there are three HVNs on the top, one HVN at the bottom. Let me just look at the HVN setting. LBS Pro, HVN sensitivity, look back this. I'll make this, let's see, 120. Okay, so in the meantime, as this chart is loading, let me minimize this and let's look at the market profile chart. So these are the three references. So one was the yesterday's low. This was the structured low, which I shared that it would be getting cleared. And these two are the multi-day lows. So around this low is where buyers. This is the zone where buyers stepped in and then they took the auction higher. So now my monitoring reference shifts to the yesterday's low. I'll remove this low. I'll remove this reference, and now is the high. Okay. So overall, there aren't any much anomalies. No anomalies. Overall structure is pretty balanced, and we have got some good excess, good single print around the high, a small single print around the lows. Okay, so this too also will be some references which I'll be looking forward to. And what I'm expecting is, so let me just bring in the pre-open market session. So auction is opening 105 points up. Okay, so now what I'm expecting is the auction to open higher. So 177. So let's make it 277. So this is the reference which I'll be looking at. This is the single print zone, and if the auction opens here, odds are high that we should be going higher because there are sellers here, and then this is what I'm expecting, a sort of reversal. Okay, so this is the first auction development path. Second auction development path is the auction opens around the high and then it continues higher. So if this happens, I won't be taking any trades. I'll be just observing the auction development. Okay. Third thing is the auction opens above the yesterday's range. It tags the high, and the high forms as the level of resistance, and then it continues to the lower side. So this is the trade which I'll be looking forward to. This is the third auction path which I'll be looking forward to. And if this type of auction develops, that's where I'll be taking the short trade. Okay, but overall we are in the buying territory, and now buyers should be stepping in. That's why we are seeing market with a big gap up. So the auction will start in next 15 seconds. So let's see which way the market opens, and how which auction path today develops, and based on that I'll be taking the trades. Okay, so the auction is open within yesterday's range. So this is the reference point which I'll be keeping, the single print zone. Nothing much. So value area high has been tagged. Now we are seeing some sort of rejection at this. So let me minimize this. First of all, let me delete all the charts. Okay. So if we study the price action of yesterday, this is the where buyers came in. This was a big spike or a pullback, and then the auction went down. Okay. So right now I'm not seeing any trades, but we have an HVN around here, around this level. So that's what I'm looking for it to tag, go up higher than this, and then see if we are getting some sort of exhaustion or not. Overall delta is flat, no change there. Let's look at the order flow chart. 3000 contracts traded, 3600 contracts traded. High is weaker, low is there are trapped sellers. We're just tagging the VWAP and just hovering around VWAP. The low is exactly at the value area high. So I'm not looking any trade locations in the market open. I'm waiting for it to either tag the high or the low. 4000 contracts already traded, so good volume flow. So we are still 2 minutes to go, and 4800 contracts traded. So buyers are stepping in now. So what happened yesterday is, if you see from the price action perspective, auction went down. In the B period is where buyers came in, and there was a couple of stops. So this was a big stop hunting move, and then again sellers came in, and then again buyers came in. So sort of zigzag sort of a overall development is seen. Okay, so we are currently in this zone. So we need to see whether buyers are protecting this position or sellers are stepping in. Okay. So 1 minute to go, 5600 contracts already traded. We are close to 14 or 15 minutes in the today's live analysis, and it looks like the high will be getting tagged. So now what I'm thinking is, who are buying here and who are selling here? What is the emotion they are going through? What is the thought process they are going through? and who is trying to sell around the open. So if you see it's not going higher. Okay, so big tempo up, then came down. So a lot of volatility. There are trapped buyers. So expect further continuation to the upside. So first 5 minute 6400 contracts traded. So good volume flow, decent volume flow. I would say not good, but decent volume flow. Now it's just hovering around the open. So I'm waiting for it to tag the reference line, this reference line, and this particular spike reference. We look at the volume chart. Uh, Delta is turned positive. Balance of power is still negative. No such change. So let the HVNB get tagged. So let's just see. Let's just wait for this candle to close. So no trade location for the moment. I'm not looking. I'm just observing the auction. I'm trying to feel the pulse, analyze who the psychology of who is selling here, who is buying here. So if you see a sort of divergence is seen, overall delta is positive, whereas the candle is bearish. So I'm expecting the high to get tagged. Right now it's just hovering around VWAP. Nothing, no major changes going on. Just hovering around VWAP. And momentum sellers are stepping in. Lack of buying seen. The delta it's now trying to be negative. So I'll be looking at the volume of this candle. So we are still one minute to go. Good selling pressure, very good selling pressure. So who is buying here and who's selling here? That's what I'm currently thinking. Momentum sellers are already there. So that gives one clarity that yes, selling is strong. Momentum sellers are stepping in. They are trying to short. But if you see, the volume is not such great. There's still 10 seconds to go. I'm expecting some big push to the downside. We had a big push, good tempo on the upside. So this can be a pullback opportunity. I'm expecting the high to be tagged. So let's see whether that happens. So delta is flat. Last 5-minute candle, previous candle was 4,000 contracts. Again, sellers are stepping in. Let me jump to the volume profile chart. And now this is the value area high reference level. So we are also at the balance lows. Here nothing much. Nothing much. Here the delta is flat, stacked below VWAP. So no good trade location for the moment. But odds are higher that we will be tagging the high. So let's see whether that happens or not. So if you want to take a long trade, wait for the candle to close above VWAP, and then you can target the high. You can also take a risky trade now. You can go long, keeping your stop loss around the current low. So this is the resistance zone, it seems. And now resistance, I'm looking for it to convert to tag this particular spike high. So this spike is a resistance spike where buyers came in and then sellers came in. Sellers stepped in and they took the entire auction down. So volume is drying out. 1400 current volume, 1500. So divergence seen in the last 5-minute previous candle. Divergence also seen in the current candle. You see delta is negative, whereas candle, it's positive. It's bullish. Now it is getting rejected at the VWAP. One minute to go to 2300 contracts traded. So comment from Nitish that how to get answers of those questions, who's buying, who's selling. So Nitish, that only you will get it through screen time and experience. You won't, there's no book. You need to gather the experience. You need to make a lot of mistakes, and then you will get the clarity. Even I still today make mistakes. I'm not an expert. I'm learning every day. So the objective is you have to understand the psychology. So one is you use market profile. So overall, if you study the market profile chart, this was the overall balance. Okay, so this is the overall balance. This is the overall value. So right now, if you see, we are seeing rejection around the value area highs. This gives me one answer that the auction is not trying to reach within this value. Okay, it's not reaching here, indicating that the auction is indicating the opposite side. So even though sellers are trying to sell, buyers are protecting and buyers are not trying to let the auction reach within this particular value. Okay. So that should give you a hint that those who are trying to sell are not good sellers. The smart money they are trying to buy, and they are trying to take the auction higher. So that is just the understanding which I have. No book or there's no one who's going to tell you, and so I'm just looking at the current market option. I'm looking for momentum buyers to step in. If there are lack of momentum buyers, then this particular hypothesis fails. Okay, so this my understanding is incorrect. Then I'll change my thinking, and then I'll be trying to take a short trade with a target of PPOC. Okay. So I'm looking for momentum buyers. So there are very few momentum buyers. If you see, very few momentum buyers compared to momentum sellers. So in the first 5 minute candle, momentum buyers did step in. But if you see higher overall, the delta is negative. Now, its cumulative delta is also negative. It's all giving me, all the data points are giving a sign that, the buyers are now getting weaker. Okay. And maybe sellers are, stepping in now. Okay. So all this understanding you will get it only through screen time and experience. Okay, so the low is getting tagged, so you should be out of the trade. The stop loss, I told you to take it around this. So first trade, it was we made a stop loss, hit our stop loss. So 6400 to 4200, 2700, 1800. Okay, still 3 minutes to go. So the option is trying to enter yesterday's value. Yeah, sorry for that. My daughter is crying. Okay, so momentum sellers are stepping in. So let them take the auction lower. Okay, so the high is still intact. Still 1 minute to go. Volume is increasing now. That's a good sign. Okay. So let the auction go below and observe around the PPOC levels. I'm expecting now sellers will be stepping in, momentum sellers, and see some sort of reversal around the PPOC levels. Okay. So that's what I wanted to share for today, and I would like to end today's session. And let's again catch up tomorrow and see how the option develops. So just observe the references which I have shared, and based on that, you can take the trades. Yeah. So with that, bye for now. Happy and safe trading. Yeah? Take care.